Hey guys, and welcome to Pheas Software. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing of this PRO WE06 PPK-20. Hey guys, and welcome back. If you do enjoy this content today, please do consider liking, commenting, subscribing, because those interactions help me get seen by the YouTube algorithms. That helps the channel to grow. If you want to visit my socials, the link down below will take you to all of my socials, including my Discord. Stop by and say hello. The join button down below will take you to YouTube channel memberships, 99 pence a month, totally optional, really appreciated. You get more of a say in the channel. You get to have your private chat area with me on my Discord, and your own custom videos and giveaways and that kind of thing. Totally optional, really appreciated. So massive thanks to my good friend Burp that has lent me this PRO WE06. This is the DSG version to have a look at. Before we get started, Burp has run this himself already. It has been used at least once. And before I did the unboxing, I have actually done the disassembly as well, so I can speak more about what's going on with it. Sort of internally, things that you maybe want to be aware of for repairs and maintenance and things like that. So this little beauty packs an awful lot. So obviously it is the DSG version, which is mad. It can take AK mags, which I'll talk about shortly, instead of just the SMG mags. It's got a 6.02 barrel in there. You've got obviously an optical MOSFET in there as well, which is like absolutely mad. Just like quite a cool little package in and of itself. So the box then is obviously got the branding on it. We've got just PRO in lots of different places and a little bit of a warning on the back. So I'll flip this over and get this open. Nothing overly special. It is nice to have a nice box, but actually the internal product's more important, isn't it? We'll open that foam up. There she is. Now it is missing its muzzle brake, and if there was a manual, that is also missing. But that's fine, we're here for this beauty. And I'll get the mag out as well. It's down a little mag. So get those out of the way. You get the box out of the way. There is an unjamming rod down the edge of the box as well. Chuck that over there, out of the way. Now, the first thing that strikes me about this is how incredibly light this is, okay? Now, we are talking polymer external, so it is very, very light. And most of the weighting is centered around here, which is where the gearbox is. In goes the mag. And that is pretty damn cool. It's kind of like an AR style flash hider muzzle brake that you normally get on there. So get that back out again. Now we'll start at the front. So should be a metal muzzle brake. What I'll do is, as recommended and asked for by people on my Discord, I have got a magnet. It's not a very good magnet. So we've got a metal body pin there, a metal body pin in there. The battery release lever is also metal, as is part of this selector system, a few parts of it. So generally screws and pins are steel, which is nice and reassuring, but the rest is polymer. Get that back out of the way. If you have got an idea for a cooler magnet that I could use for this sort of thing, let me know, drop a link and a comment down below. So got then polymer handguard, quite thick and chunky. We have got a rail top and bottom to accommodate whatever we want, as well as, you know, sort of quite, I suppose, traditional style iron sights. We've sort of distanced from the AK style, but we have obviously got this extended rail across the top there so we can mount accessories. And obviously we've got bottom rail as well for other things. Coming back then, we've got what partially looks like a traditional AK style receiver. Sorry, AK fanboys, I apologise. We've then got a very unusual selector. So this is an ambidextrous selector that partially works on the AK style system, that you've got that little connecting through cam, but the rest of the selector is largely proprietary. So we have got this plate here, but it's largely just symbolic to show you where things are going. The actual selector points you're looking for is here. It is actually safe, semi-auto, auto as well, which is against the traditional AK style of firing things. We've got obviously the SMG magwell. However, I have done a little video of how to convert it, that this assembly can come out and it will take AK mags. Now, I have done some of the rate of fire tests with those with AK mags, which I'll talk about shortly. We've then got the pistol grip, which is particularly nice and comfortable and really nicely shaped, and the texturing on here is going to be good but for your hands and for your gloves. Enlarged sort of trigger guard, which this is all one piece, all of this together. You know, plenty of room in there, particularly if you've got meat hooks like mine and or are wearing gloves. And then at the back, we've got a highly adjustable stock. So we've got one position adjusting there where we can multiple sort of like, well, you can see across the bottom there, all of these things. So you can fine adjust where is the right for you. We've then got the ability to fold it as well and lock in place. And we can still access our selector because it's ambidextrous. Now, traditionally, that's probably where I would access it anyway because I'm right-handed, and obviously that's where an AR style selector is. Now, folding it like that makes it stupidly small to get back sort of into position. Excuse me. When you have folded it and locked it open, what you do need to do is press the button again to release it and click it back round. That is polymer, and there is a QD point there, which is quite nice as well. But that is a lot of adjustment in such a tiny little area. And for me, that fully collapsed is actually the perfect sort of distance to have a stock setter. I like feeling like I'm in close and compact. I like to be as small as possible, which is really amusing because I'm quite a big guy. You know, I like to minimize my shadow as much as I can because let's face it, those trees are not hiding me, so I need to do as much minimization as possible. Now, it is great that that can come out and you can take AK mags. However, burp be damned, because the suffering to get it back in is a nightmare, okay? And it took a good 20 odd minutes to A, figure it out because he just blindly ripped it apart, and B, get it back into position. The main issue is the spring on the back of the trigger on the release needs to be in a very specific position, held in some sort of weird, if you're an Apple Mac user with your weird keyboards, you will love it because I am sure it is a regular hand gesture that you are going for, that you're using for that. So just bear in mind that it is doable. It's a pain though if you're going to do it, but the video is linked down below and will have dropped just before or just with this sort of video. So I'm going to go do the shooting test again. We'll have a look at how it performs and then I'll be back in a second. That's pretty good. You're looking about 18-ish rounds a second. I think that was the Magnus feeding. Wow, the mag can't even keep up. That's insane. The mag can't even keep up. I can't even get a reading. I'm guessing that's probably close to 30 rounds a second. A little bit inconsistent, so minimum 232, a couple of outliers there, max 311, but it seems to be close to, like, generally speaking, about 300, but that's obviously downgraded for UK markets. Taking a lot of adjustment to get. Hitting close to 50. Oh, wow. Easily over 50. Okay, so I am back then. So on a 7.4 then, I was getting about 18 rounds per second, which is pretty damn good on a 7.4. Obviously helped along by the fact that it's got that dual sector gear in there. That is obviously boosting it, because instead of one rotation of the gear set equaling one shot, one rotation of that gear set is now 2 shots, and that's obviously significantly boosting the sort of rate of fire of that. 11.1, 23, 24, 30, who knows. It was absolutely insane. A little bit frightening, actually. And I like a high rate of fire, and that was frightening. The mags, just none of the mags I had were keeping up with it properly. So you are into the well into the beyond 20 rounds a second there, which is just absolutely insane. How quick that was turning over. The internals, the selector system is proprietary in terms of that you've got a selector plate more or less on each side, which is fine, but it's largely proprietary. So when it breaks, you're going to be hard pressed to get another one. But still should be standard enough internally that it will take other aftermarket MOSFETs if this one fails, like the PRO, for example. The other thing, the shell is slightly proprietary as well, because the way that the selectors work on each side, there is like an extra sort of moulding on there that takes those elements. So keep that in mind, that just chucking an AK standard gearbox in there may not be the thing that can happen, the thing that you can do, because of that proprietary selector system going on and around it and stuff. So the mid cap fed lovely, as I would expect it to do. I would probably run it with AK Max just because they're a little bit easier to come by, but shot lovely as well until we hit 11.1, and then nothing could keep up with it at all. Now, in terms of gloved operation, then we'll have a look. I did forget to talk about certain features, obviously, externals we're moving back. So we have got ambidextrous selector, which is nice. We've got a metal charging handle which pulled back, does expose our hop unit. Now, with my gloves on, I can do it, and I can visually see. Now, it is a roll forward to apply hop. In terms of the battery space, to get into the battery, we're going to clip. Now, I did have to push down ever so slightly and pull that up. Then it lifts up, and then the battery cover, if I've pulled it out far enough, lifts away, and it kind of lifts up and away. Now, you've got two latches at the back there, which put that back down, and it clicks forward. It doesn't click, that's a lie. I put that in and loop it back down and click it in like that. Battery space I can access, and I can definitely do a tactical battery change. The hop unit I can do, the mag I can do in and out. Now, this is a mid-cap mag, so you do need a speed loader to push the BBs into the top. That's to speed it up. You can do one individually at a time if you like, but it's going to take you ages. So that goes in. The selector, nice and easy from either side, depending on which handed you are, which is quite nice to see that come in. I've found more and more often of late, I've ended up shooting left-handed through necessity as opposed to want. Charging handle I can do. The stock I can fold, open, and I can easily adjust as well. So I am happy that gloved operation is relatively easy going. Thanks again to the guys on my Discord for that as a suggestion. Get that out of the way. So let's come back to batteries then. Now, that is not an awful lot of battery real estate space in there. It's slightly more than we think. Now, traditionally, that is the 11.1 that I use to chrono, so it's a 2600. That is not going to go in there in any way, shape or form. This is the 7.4 I run, so it's the new PRO 2200, like nunchuck style. That's not going down there. What I might be able to do, though, is feed. I can, in theory, feed it down like that and then lead the wiring back, and I should have enough room under there. Still not ideal, but if you're in a scrape, you know, there we go. I've then got a 1200 milliamp 7.4 volt stick battery. Now that slides well down there, leaving me plenty of room for my wiring and the battery cover to go on. Likewise, I've got an 11.1 1200, which also does go in a little bit snugger, but goes in, and I've got plenty of room there for my wiring to go on, so that that was the MOSFET beeping up. I've then got, this is easily going to fit a 1000 milliamp giant power, although famous last words, that's not, it's too wide, would you believe? It won't actually fit in there. I've got a 1450 new PRO 7.4. That's not going in there, but I can probably get, oh no, a little bit, goes in a little bit. I can probably get the battery cover on at that point. I've got an 1100 11.1 new PRO. That just does not fit at all. I might get away with it being under the battery cover like that. Not ideal. And then I don't think that 800 milliamp is going to fit either. Absolutely not. I don't even think that'll fit under the battery cover. So for me, you're looking at probably the 11.1 or the 7.4 1200 sticks like that come right down here. You've got just a little bit of space for your wiring then, and that can come back out easily. And then your battery cover comes back on. So you sit it down, click it forward, that goes in and locks in there like that. So it is particularly stable. There's very little wobble to that. The gearbox looks like a good job has been done to shim it. There is a lot of grease in there. Obviously a little bit proprietary shell, and selectors are proprietary as well. In terms of getting the internals out, relatively quick and simple. Full metal piston, which is good. Quick change spring, which is fully accessible as well, that if you just take the battery cover off, undo this plate, this is like a screw, and then you've just got a standard come on Pheas, spring guide that you push in, quarter turn, and it'll come out, so you can quick change your spring if needs be. Then you've got the MOSFET on top of that as well, which is cool in itself. You know, helps to keep it turning over really sharp and nice. As a feature set, it's pretty damn cool. I do worry long term that proprietariness of the gearbox shell and the selectors, maybe it's undoing a little bit. That said, they're not under a lot of stress, the actual selectors. They're not under a lot of stress in terms of the shell and things. It looks good and solid. You should be all right. How often does a selector plate break? Not that often. And it's ambidextrous as well, so you can operate it from both sides, technically, I guess. So, really cool little piece of kit. I appreciate Burp letting me go for it. Great that you can swap to taking AK mags instead of the stock little SMG mags and things. Really cool, interesting piece. I'm not sure if it's going to be my sort of flavour, but it's definitely an interesting piece, and I would love to run a game with it. So I hope that's been useful to you. I hope you enjoyed that. I've enjoyed that immensely. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.